Welcome back to the Healing Chamber Podcast. I'm Layla Rose, and today we'll be discussing how to activate the version of you who got it all. So something that I want to start with is that our mind has this natural mechanism. I'm trying to find the right words. So our mind has a natural mechanism of trying to confirm beliefs through external elements. Okay, I'm going to give a few examples as well, don't worry. So when we have a belief system, our mind, our ego is always going to try to confirm this belief system through different elements, different external elements, actually. So a specific example of that, when we start to think about, buying a red car, we start shopping for red cars, right? Or this specific red car. What's going to happen, and that's something that a lot of people have been noticing, is that for the next few weeks or months, you're going to be driving and you're going to see that car everywhere. And that car it's always been there. But because you've been focusing on that red car, right? You're thinking about it. You've been shopping for it. It's in your thoughts. It's in your, thought process all the time. Then you're going to be noticing that car everywhere to the point where you're going to be like, this car is like chasing me. And that can be applied to anything. If you keep thinking about someone, a lover, and then all of a sudden you can see their name everywhere, their initials, you open the radio, it's their favorite song playing. So again, we always confirm our beliefs. So there's the positive aspect of it, right? So when you think about someone or, a past loved one, and then suddenly you can, smell their perfume while walking in the streets, or you can, hear their favorite songs everywhere. So that's the positive sign usually, because it makes us feel good, right? Because we're like, oh, you're here, I can't see them, but I know they're here. And I would say the negative aspect of that same mechanism is if you have, for example, this belief that you are unlovable. Because let's say, for example, in your childhood, something happened with your parents, your caregivers, and they made you feel like you weren't lovable, like you weren't worthy of receiving love. What's going to happen, unfortunately, and that's subconscious again, right? Your ego is always going to try to confirm that belief. So you're going to go through so many situations in your life that are going to reinforce that belief, right? Because every time you're going to be rejected, every time someone is going to make you feel unlovable, and that could be a lover, that could also be a job, firing you, like any situation where you're rejected, right, is going to confirm that belief. And then once it's going to be so reinforced, it's going to come to a point where you'll want to shut down your heart, and you will close off the gate of love, because you don't want to get hurt anymore. And your ego is here to protect you. Your ego is not your enemy. Your ego is here to make sure that you're safe and wants to protect you. And unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know how to do is they don't know how to regulate their nervous system. They don't know how to protect their heart while still having, boundaries, but the energy is still flowing in and out, right? You're not blocking it. And a lot of people suppress their emotions. They use distractions, substances to make sure that they don't feel. And unfortunately, it just gets louder. It just gets louder and louder and louder. And then, unfortunately, that's how a lot of people pass away. Because when you look at what is the number one killer of humans, heart attacks, the heart space. So learning how to protect our heart and healing our heart, creating with our heart is I would say one of the most important thing a human can learn how to do. So now, how do you activate the version of you with this type of information? So knowing how your heart is operating and your ego is operating, then there's this spiritual practice where you have to sit down with yourself and you have to meditate and you have to set the intent. It doesn't have to be long. You can do that for like 5 minutes every day. But especially in the morning, connecting with your higher self for 5 minutes and really practice on connecting with your heart. What does your heart want? You know, a lot of times we have people outside, you know, outside of us telling us like, you know, why do you want this? Why, you know, oh, you shouldn't want this. You know, I remember a long time ago, actually when I was a kid, I used to say already that I wanted to be a mother and a wife. And it's so funny because that's not how I was raised. I was raised by like the, you know, traditional, you know, single mom, aka boss babe. I would say we could call her like that right now. That would be the term. So this whole like traditional aspect of, you know, getting married and having children, you know, that's something that as a kid, like it was embodied, it was in my heart, it was in my soul. And so it's interesting because I've had so many situations where I was shamed for having these desires, right? I would get told, you know, oh, you're so lazy, like why do you like all these like weird things, right? Because it makes no sense. I mean, at least for me, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like being a mother is probably one of the most, you know, hard unpaid job ever in the world. But you really do it out of love for sure. It's a selfless devotional path for sure. And so, yeah, so as a kid, I was shamed for wanting that. And then obviously throughout, you know, my early adulthood, I was also shamed for you know, saying those things. And, you know, people would be like, well, you're codependent. Like, why do you need a husband? And it's like, it's not like that. It's more like, there's actually a term for that. It's called interdependence. Yeah. Interdependence is when you rely on someone else for specific things. And it's, you know, it's an equal relationship, right? Because the feminine has traits that only, you know, she has, that she can give to the masculine, and the masculine, you know, is the same thing. So it's called interdependence, and that's actually really natural and common because that's how our biology is like programmed to. So it's so interesting, right, that there are so many blockages in the collective regarding that. And so what I had to do, for example, and that's just like a specific example, obviously, but I had to really connect with my heart and be honest with myself, you know, and be like, this is really what I want. You know, I can see myself having this reality, and it's in my heart. I can't even explain it to someone, you know, and I don't want to explain it to anybody. It's not a debate. Like, why should we debate about this? You know, it's so funny. Yeah, so I've learned how to protect my heart. So first of all, when I have this, you know, new project idea, or even within the Hathor brand that I created, you know, I'm always looking for ways to expand. So when I get these, you know, nudges of creativity, I do not tell anyone up until the point it's like so anchored and so grounded in the reality that anything you might say, even if you're like, oh, I don't think it's gonna work, blah blah blah, it's not a good idea, like it flies above me like like nothing. Like, I don't care, right? And obviously I try to surround myself with people who are aligned, you know, with who I am, because personally I'm the type of person who always encourages people's dreams, because I chase my own dreams. That's why. So I want to surround myself with people who chase their own dreams, because that's how we, you know, keep the ball rolling, and we can respect each other's space and need to create. What else can I add to this? How do we activate the best version of ourselves, or the version of ourselves who has it all? So yeah, connecting with our heart, and it has to be a practice, obviously. Moving in silence, protecting our heart, having boundaries as well, having boundaries with everyone. That's also an amazing way to really protect our energy and protect our heart. And as well, all the meditations that I've created in this channel are meant for you to go emotionally in your end. So that's also something, because your ego is always finding ways to, confirm beliefs, right? What's going to happen is if you don't have physically what you want, you're going to find all these excuses about why it won't happen or it will never happen. And the best way and the fastest way to go beyond that, to also, and it's not even like tricking your ego, you're working with your ego, because every single day you're going to close your eyes. Your ego doesn't see your mind doesn't see the difference between your imagination and the reality. So that's how you play with your ego. You dance with your ego. Every single morning you go mentally in your end, right? So if your end is to be in a conscious partnership, then what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes. You're going to really connect with your heart, connect with your body, your emotions, and feel the feelings of already being in that conscious partnership. Forget about all the details and how and why it shouldn't happen and where all the good men are. Like I'm seeing all those comments on social media. People are like, there's no good men anymore. Well, obviously, if you're saying that out loud, your ego is going to confirm that belief. So don't say these things. Like, he is out there. He's looking for you, actually. But if you keep saying that, like, you're blocking him. You're resisting him. So again, working with your ego every single morning and having this routine of connecting with your end, and really forgetting about the 3D and all the details. Like, that's not for you to figure out anyway. Like, that's up to the universe. That's up to God, you just have to focus and get aligned with that. And once you're in alignment, it's going to be served to you on a silver platter. But you have to be consistent. And that's why I tell it, in my meditations at the beginning, you have to listen to this every single day for at least 21 days. And if you still don't get results by 21 days, because obviously if you've been programmed for the past 30, 40 years, it's not going to take like 3 days to get on program, right? You have to be consistent. It's still quick though. But, at least 21 days to 90 days. 90 days are usually the beliefs that are like really deep in us. Like, for example, I'm from a lineage of slavery. So the whole aspect of, having wealth is something that, oh my God, it was a deep wound, and not just for me, but for my entire lineage. So obviously it didn't take 21 days. It was more about like 90 days. But still, it's still quick when you think about it, from a higher perspective, to change your life in 90 days, compared to like a decade or 20 years. I feel like it's incredibly fast. Oh my God, that's for today's episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.